want to make sure everybody keeps warm out here because it's a challenge in this wind. There's no question about it. My name is Ed Malloy, Mayor of Fairfield. I'm in my first term. I'm a good friend of Bob Rasmussen's. I know that you all probably know Bob very well. He was our mayor for 28 years. I served with Bob on the city council for 8 years, and was always very proud of the tradition that he carried for Parsons and the work that he did on behalf of our community. And it just really was my pleasure to have the opportunity to follow someone who really made such a great contribution to Fairfield. I want to thank George Jordan, your organizer, tenacious man. Just incredible what he put out there to get all of you to come back here. And I know those of you who've made the trip know that it's worthwhile. And we're really, really happy that you come back here. We love our public access TV. We had a microphone set up to have you out in front there, and I thought, you know what, it'd be a lot more intimate up inside here, so I'm not going to use that microphone. But anyway, it's wonderful to have you back on behalf of the citizens of Fairfield. We really, because of the long tradition that Parsons had in our community, there is a lot of meaning. There are a lot of people who have made great contributions to our community over the years, and it's wonderful to have you back. And I know how much like home this feels to all of you, and and I know how important it is for you to come back and to connect with friends and to get that sense of home again. And we're very happy that you made the trip. So the first bit of business I'd like to do is somewhat official, and we've written a proclamation declaring Monday, June 2nd, Parsons College Day in commemoration of the closing of Parsons College. So I'd like to read this now and then present it to Mr. Jordan. Whereas Parsons College was a valued and renowned institution of higher education founded in Fairfield in 1875, and whereas the Parsons College faculty, administration, and students have made vital contributions to every area of the Fairfield community throughout its history, and whereas the closing of Parsons College on June 2nd, 1973 marked the end of a glorious era connecting our city and the college, and whereas the distinguished alumni of Parsons College will be returning to Fairfield to commemorate the closing of the college and share their precious memories and celebrate their past, therefore be it resolved, the City of Fairfield, Iowa proclaims Monday, June 2nd, 2003, Parsons College Day, and joins the citizens and alumni in honoring this important part of our heritage. So George, if you'd come forward, I'd like to present this to you now. Congratulations, and thank you for all of your work in bringing everyone here. What's that? Sure.
Hello, Ron.
Yep.
I'm not quite as...
This one is just for the camera.
Okay. I'm not quite as tall as Mayor Ed, but he's been very gracious. And on behalf of the people here and the alumni across America and the world, I want to accept this as a tribute to our coming together. And for this time, 30 years hence, who'd ever think we'd be in Fairfield, Iowa 30 years after the close? I mean, usually when they see a college die, they never see anything go beyond that. But now with technology of the internet and email, here we are to say once again, we love you, Parsons College, and I think this is a tribute. And thank you.
Thanks, George. Now, I wanted to start by talking a little bit about myself. I'm originally from New York, and I've met at least one New Yorker, actually two New Yorkers here already, three. I'm originally from Glen Cove, Long Island, and I came to Fairfield in 1979 for the first time. I learned to practice transcendental meditation while I was in college in 1974. And there were courses offered usually on an annual basis, different places, and I'd go take advantage of them once a year. There was one out here in 1979, and when I arrived, I was completely charmed by where I was, and there were other people in the same, feeling the same way, and decided to stay and community started to build around that, and it's been very, very exciting over that time to see what's developed. The university that took over for Parsons College was good in the sense that it really provided a continuity of higher education in Fairfield. There's something very, very special about a college town or university town. There's an intangible about that that really keeps a youthful and a connected sense of life within a community, and it was very, very important that, to Fairfield. I think we were very fortunate that there was that kind of continuity. There were at that time, I think, 200 campuses across the country that had closed due to the same sorts of circumstances. And 5 years after your institution closed, the school that I went to closed as well. I went to a small liberal arts school in northern Maine called Ricker College. It had started in the 1840s, the 1850s as a classical institute, then became a junior college, and then was an accredited college, I think in the 1940s or 1950s is when it was finally established. It was a great school, 1,500 students, great student-teacher ratio, students from New England, New York, New Jersey, a lot of the same places that a lot of you have come from. And I got a wonderful education, a wonderful time there. And I was heartbroken when it closed in 1978 as well, because of how much that institution meant to me. And in 1995, I decided to take it upon myself from Fairfield, Iowa, to organize the first reunion back in Holton, Maine. And there had been several other get-togethers and reunions. They took place in Boston or Hartford or more centralized places. And I'd go, and I think it was always fun to get together with people, but as the years pass, the relationships become more and more special, and actually being in the place where you went to school was something more meaningful. And I thought, you know what, we can get people back up there and organize the first reunion in 1995, and we got about 700 people to that, and it was really, a wonderful, wonderful time. But we went back, the buildings that really meant a lot to us, about 50% of them were gone. They were just bulldozed under, and low-income housing had sort of taken over some of those areas. Some of our historic buildings had become Department of Human Services offices, or one had become a nursing home, another had become a church facility. And as much as it was difficult to really see that and not really connect with the bricks and mortar and the property of the campus, it was still good. It was still good to be back in the community that meant so much to us, that was our home for a long time, and we've kept going back up there. In 2000, we went back up there again, and then this year is the 25th anniversary of the closing of Ricker College, and there is another reunion up there this year, which I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make. But I understand the disappointment in some respects and the changes that you've seen on the college campus. It's in one, but I think my message is that, unfortunate as that is, there's still a great fortune that there is a continuity to the education continuing in our community, and also to the fact that there are still some of your important buildings and the campus area the property that you can go on and that you can be part of, and that there is a university to welcome you there. Our experience in Holton, Maine was such that we couldn't even go on the property any longer. So enough said, and I'd be happy to answer any questions about what went on during that period where some of those buildings were taken down, if that's something that you want to explore. But let me talk to you a little bit about what Fairfield's done since then. We get a back, and the wind's getting me a little bit, got a little runny nose. So the university, as I'd mentioned, has attracted people from all 50 states and many countries around the world. And what's been extraordinary is that Fairfield that was traditionally an agricultural hub and a manufacturing economy has transformed into more of a diverse entrepreneurial economy. There have been literally hundreds of new startup businesses over the last 20 years. And whereas a lot of communities our size across the country and certainly in Iowa have had significant challenges in retaining population and in keeping a secure economy, we've been very fortunate in being able to have a great formula for rural living. We've had a diverse economy. We built up a telecommunications infrastructure where we have fiber, 2 companies that offer fiber, so we've had high-speed internet access for about 6 or 7 years now. We have a the telecommunications infrastructure beyond that is very strong as well. We've had a lot of new construction. We've had probably 150 to 200,000 square feet of new office space that's been built in the last 10 years. We've averaged about $10 million in new construction between commercial and residential within the last 10 years as well. You know, our downtown, where a lot of communities across Iowa have really completely dried up. We no longer have the hardware stores and the women's and men's clothing, and they've basically disappeared. They've all gone to malls and to Walmarts and things like that, but we've been fortunate to be able to attract some specialty stores that are things that people from outside of our community will come and visit. We have some big plans as well. We're excited about our future. We have become sort of also a haven for artists. We have something that has been very successful that's developed within the last year that we call the First Fridays Art Walk, and I'm sorry that we just missed it by a week. In case anyone's going to be here for the whole week, the first Friday of each month, there are about a half a dozen art galleries and studios on the square. Some of them are above on the second story, and then there are a number of businesses that will host art exhibits. So we have about 12 to 15 places on the square that will open up from 6 till 10 o'clock at night. They'll serve refreshments, and during that period of time you cannot park in the downtown, probably for a couple of blocks in terms of finding a parking space. A month ago we had 1,500 people that were roaming the square. You'll get a map of the different galleries. There are artists that rotate their work, and we're beginning to get a reputation for that. We have had in the past as many as 5 different community theater organizations with a number of different venues, so there's always a lot of good quality entertainment. We have a number of places. How many of you have been to Regina's restaurant over in the old Loudon building? If you haven't been there yet, I highly recommend it, but there's also across the hall from it a cafe that on the weekends will have entertainment. There's a venue in the old VFW hall up here that has entertainment every weekend. So it's really developed into really kind of a fun town, and we're going to build on that. One of the things that we're in the last leg of securing is the funds to build a civic and convention center. Have many of you seen the location for that or hear where that is? Basically, just west of our courthouse, there's a municipal parking lot, and that entire block will house this 32 or 35,000 square foot building that'll have a 550 seat auditorium, state of the art, and also about a 12,000 square foot convention center. It'll house our Chamber of Commerce, our Economic Development Association, and soon to be formed our Convention and Visitors Bureau. We passed a hotel motel tax a year and a half ago. We have the revenues to form a Convention and Visitors Bureau, so we're going to have somebody full-time to really attract people to Fairfield, which is something that I think as Parsons graduates we need to talk about as well, because one of the things that we would like to promote are all of our assets, and your history is certainly an asset to our community, and it's something that we want to make very high profile and add to what it is that we promote for people who are visiting Fairfield. That facility is designed to encompass a lot of the remaining elements of the Barhide Chapel. The old organ was meticulously taken apart and stored out of that. The stained glass was also, much of the stained glass windows were taken out of that and restored as well. And some of the limestone from the building itself will be used for benches and things out in front. And I believe that one of the galleries, the art gallery, will be named the Barhide Gallery in there. So there was really a lot of respect that was paid to that building, and we quickly encompassed that into something new that we were building so that we could continue that tradition. So I think that building will be very meaningful to all of you as Parsons graduates, and we really look forward to that. It's a $6 million project. We have raised about $2.8 million privately thus far. We got an $800,000 award from the state. The state of Iowa put a fund together 3 years ago to start to help communities build attractions so that across the state a tourism industry could really start to grow. And when our project came up, it got such a high priority, and they moved our application up very, very quickly. We were very quickly approved for an $800,000 award. The city is going to be putting in $1.4 million in local option sales tax, and that takes us up to about 4.8 or 4.9. So the remainder of that 1.1, 1.2 will be raised privately, and we have a goal of doing that by August, and we're hoping to break ground on the facility this fall. As I mentioned, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, we really are moving in the direction of building up on all of our assets and resources here in the community to make it a place that we can attract people and build a tourist industry. Fairfield has a great fascination around the state of Iowa, and I think in the region, because of the entrepreneurial businesses, because of the university, because of the charm of the downtown, a number of things, and we want to really capitalize on that. Some of the other projects that are going on, there's a group of citizens who about 5 years ago began building and raising money for a trail system. And as you know, that's one of those elements of quality of life that you can't take for granted. If you have a quality trail system for hiking or biking and things like that, it really adds to your the preservation of your natural environment and the enjoyment of that. So what's planned now is a 17-mile trail around Fairfield. Probably about, and Dave Neff could help me with how much is completed right now, but it's probably 7 or 8 miles, Dave?
To the north, coming from the Walton Road all the way over to the west side is probably 3 or 4 miles. To the south, you've got a piece that comes from Lamson Woods over to Glasgow Road. And then there's also a number of trails out in Jefferson County Park. A new
Correct.
Bridge, that was a $400,000 or $500,000 grant received to the old Rock Island Bridge.
Right.
Completely dismantled. That's been rebuilt so you can head out the old right-of-way towards Libertyville. So there's probably at least 7 or 8 miles of trail currently. And
we're approaching about $750,000 that have been invested in that as well. A lot of that has been private funds and grant funds. And when that's done, it will be a contiguous 17-mile loop trail that'll connect all of our best parks, Chautauqua Park and Lamson Woods, our Waterworks Park. The DOT, once the highway bypass of Highway 34 is they're basically building a 4-lane from the Mississippi River to Des Moines, and much of that is completed right now. The last leg of it's being done down here. In fact, the very last leg of it will be the bypass of Fairfield, so we're going to get to have the grand opening ceremony here in Fairfield in 2007, which will be a lot of fun connecting that. We'll have dignitaries from all over the state for that event. But once that 7-mile leg is built for the bypass, the DOT is also putting in 7 miles of trail there as well. That same group has a vision to build a theme of trails within Fairfield. One of the other trails that they propose will be the Heritage Trail, which will be something where at our Welcome Center you'll be able to stop and get a map and with all of the historic points in the county. They also are proposing a water trail which will connect all of our reservoirs, lakes and streams, or a paddle trail as I think they're called. So there'll be a number of elements also that we can build to attract people here. We recently were awarded a grant to do a study of our downtown by the Iowa Architects Foundation. They basically came down with a team of 10 architects, urban planners, landscape designers, and they really looked at our whole downtown and gave us a lot of recommendations about how to enhance that, building into it the Civic Center and also Howard Park, or Heritage Park rather, which is a Howard Park, which is now used for our very successful farmers market. In fact, if you have a little time this morning and you want to go over there, there are a lot of local growers and a lot of local goods that are sold there, and it's quite nice. And we really want to connect that park to the downtown. When we have the Civic Center there, it will extend the downtown another blocks. We have a lovely county courthouse, and we're talking about making a promenade from this point here all the way through to Howard Park that will go around the courthouse, behind the McElhaney House, and into Howard. We want to redo Howard to have all the elements of Central Park. So we'll have 3 repeating green spaces, this here, around our courthouse, and then Howard Park. So those are some of the elements that we're really excited about developing. We also have an organization in town, another grant that we were awarded to do a community visioning project, because when we do our bypass, there are a lot of landscape elements that can beautify those exchanges and make the community more inviting. They're also making recommendations for our downtown and for some of our parks for a lot of landscape plantings and things like that. We recently completed a 10-year strategic plan that really illustrates and talks about a lot of these things that we have planned. We developed a brochure, and that gives a synopsis of the plan. I'd like to invite you all to take one of those. I think that's good enough. More up here. So the message is we plan to be around for a long time. We plan to be to grow the community, to bring more people to enjoy what we have here, and certainly we would want that. We want to continue to be a welcome host community for Parsons alumni for as long as we're all around. So that's kind of a synopsis of what we're doing here. Again, just a great warm welcome from all of us here in Fairfield for coming back, and we really wish you the best for your long weekend and hope to join you on Monday for your ceremony commemorating your closing. But I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you have.
How will the bypass affect downtown, do you think?
Well,
In these delightful pleasant groves, in these delightful pleasant groves, let us celebrate, let's celebrate, let's celebrate our happy, happy loves. In these delightful pleasant groves, in these delightful pleasant groves, let's celebrate, let's celebrate, let's celebrate our happy, happy loves. Let's pipe, pipe and dance, let's pipe, pipe and dance, let's and sing, thus, thus, thus every happy, happy living thing. Bells in the cheerful spring. Bells in the cheerful spring. Now is the month of May, when merry lads are playing. is the month of May, when merry lads are play. La 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 la, la 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 la. Each with his bonny lass, a dancing round the grass. La 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 la, la 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 la. Each with his bonny lass, a dancing round the grass. La 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 la, la 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 la. The springtime blowing gladness, the glad, the winter sadness. La 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 la, la 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 la. The springtime blowing gladness, the glad, the winter sadness. La 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 la, la 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 la. And through the backward sound, the nymphs tread on the ground. La 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 la, la 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 la. And through the backward sound, the nymphs tread on the ground. La 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 la, la 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 la. I am my sweet refusing, his sweet delight refusing. La 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 la, la 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 la. I'm in my sweet refusing, his sweet delight refusing. La 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 la, la 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 la. Say daintiness and speed, shall we pay barley bread? La 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 la. Say daintiness and speed, shall we play barley bread? La 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 la.
To the tables down at Maurice, to the place where Louis dwells, to the dear old temple bar we love so well. Sing the women who's assembled with their glasses raised on high, and the magic of their singing casts a spell. Yes, the magic of their singing, of the songs we love so well. Shall I wasting and mouth-hoarding and the rest? We will serenade our Louis, while voice and life shall last. And will pass and be forgotten with the rest. We are poor little lambs who have lost our way. Ba, ba, ba. Little black sheep who have gone astray. Ba, ba, ba. Gentlemen songsters out on a spree, doomed from here to eternity. God, have mercy on such as we.
Ezekiel's on wheel, way up in the middle of the air. Ezekiel's on wheel, way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel's on wheel, way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel's on wheel, way in the middle of the air. The big wheel run by land, the land of the face of God. A wheel, way in the middle of the air. Never mind, my brother, how you walk out your cross. Way in the middle of the air. Don't put my slip back, song and lost. Way in the middle of the air. All Satan wears a club with you. Way in the middle of the air. If you don't mind, it's slipping on you. Way in the middle of the air.
Okay, thanks for doing this.
Start writing off your travel expenses.
I was at a party at Wheelock Town with
Very good. Thank you. Russia, thank you.
excellent. Unbelievable at 8:15 in the morning, I'll tell you.
He normally runs, 5 or 8 miles every morning before the sun comes up.
With his bagpipe.
I don't do the run with the bagpipes, but I play it.
Yes, I hear.
By the way, this is Dr. Terry Cochran, a local physician in town, who came out this morning at my behest to service and to commemorate this event of the closing of Parsons College. And we'll say a few words here. Are you going to stick around, or are you going to...
That's my real job.
They need you more,
Thank you very much.
Come to New Hampshire to the Highland Games sometime and bring your pipes with you.
Terry, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Very good.
Again, I'm not sure why I'm here, but we've already discussed this. Dave Pierce told me to limit my comments briefly to recognition of the committee who served us well, from Kay Bear Hines to John Braywood to Dave Pierce himself to Nancy Kirby, and who did I forget?
Rich.
How can you forget the big guy? Well, you're going to hear about this in emails from me now.
Well, stuff I might say, but I must tell you, I got a call at 5:30 this morning from my wife, and she's looking at the Berkshire Eagle. She says it's a big 4-column by 5-inch picture. George C. himself and Rich Dixon. I said, bless us. God bless us. And she says, I went inside the paper, and there's a long, lengthy story by the AP. I said, could you wait till 7 o'clock to call me? I said, really? So I didn't forget you. I
No,
knew
you
you'd
called
hear.
me right back. I mean, very considerate.
I'd like to start off the morning with a remembrance from Dave Neff, our graduate, who will have a few words here.
If we could start out with a prayer, if you bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, thank you for all the memories, for all of the wonderful times, the reacquaintances, and people that we didn't even know before that now are our friends, part of the Parsons family. lady has been here for many, many years, and she's in new hands at this point. We feel fortunate for the warm welcome that has been provided us by the MUM faculty, staff, and administration. We are especially thankful for these memories that we have brought back this weekend, for the guidance that you have given us over the years from the time Parsons closed until today, 30 years ago, when the last graduation was held on this same central campus. We ask for your good guidance as we move forward and continue the friendships, and most of all, we ask for safe return for all those that have traveled many miles to come here. In his name we pray. Amen.
Mayor Mallory joins us again. He welcomed us to the community of Fairfield, and we all note the changes, but he's been a resource, a source for having us to have a nice weekend here, and I think he'd like to say a few words and note. So I'll turn it over to him for a brief thought.
Thank you, George. Just briefly again, thank you all for coming to Fairfield. It's an inspiration to see the dedication and the devotion that you have to your institution and to your past and to the memories that you all share. We hope we were a good host to you, and we welcome you back many, many more times. This is your home. This institution will always be tied to Fairfield. We cherish that, we honor that, and we respect everything that you represent. So again, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure this is the place I want to say this, because I do have Dr. Tree on board here, and he's a Grinnell man, but he's a professor here at Parsons and a loyal community member. But before I introduce him, this has been a long road, and I'm not sure how we got here, but we did get here with your support, your help. What did I accomplish? Maybe I accomplished things by bringing you together. Maybe I helped you to enjoy 4 days, which I think yesterday's picnic really gave us friendship and hope. And here we are today, 30 years after the close. Now, I wasn't here for that, but I think there's two things I see at this juncture. The eyes of America are watching us today. I like to think that the story is positive. I like to think my friend from the AP came out here, and not many of the local media, like the Des Moines or the regional media, gave us a lot of play, but this story will go, it will wake up America again, and I like to think that there's some things.
Hey, Ledger, Eric.
I think there's some things in play. And I guess I like to think that we are not dead. I think that the hope and the future of Parsons' name and its education and theories live on. And I think we have a nice base here, and I like to think that there's a lot of positive things that will go on as higher education goes on. And with that note, I'll let Dr. Tree have a few words.
Well, thank you, George, and it's great being here this morning. I'm glad I was able to get back in time. And I also thought, as I looked out the window this morning, the sky looks rather like it did 30 years ago today. Gray, and as a matter of fact, we got a few sprinkles during the final commencement. Not enough to send us to cover, but the day is really rather similar. It was cool and gray, and we really, for those of you who were there, may recall that we really had a very fine commencement. As you know, graduation time is always one of both happiness and sadness. And people, students are happy that they're graduating, yet they are leaving their friends, they're parting, and they may not see each other for many years or even maybe never again, but still there are those memories. For parents, it is a day of great joy that they finally aren't going to have those bills to pay any longer. And they've got Junior or Missy out, and now go get a job and start earning your own way in the world. But I do think that what George just was saying, that Parsons still lives on. And as long as there are graduates to remember the school, it will continue. And it has had a place in education. And I have found in the years since, in the last 30 years, meeting people from other colleges, universities, so forth, they often ask about what we were doing here, and I'm often been surprised at how much some of them really know and accurately know what we were doing and trying to do. And you see some of the Parsons influence in other schools in one way or another, and particularly the idea of tutoring and that sort of thing, and one-on-one kind of mentoring that takes place in many schools now. It's almost commonplace. Much of it really stems, whether other schools know it or not, it really stems from here. So I would just simply say that I think we can all continue to go forth in the world and to be proud of our associations, that we were here, and it was a great experience. Parsons is not the only college that closes or even closed that year. I've forgotten now just how many were listed in the Chronicle of Higher Education, but Parsons was one of quite a number of schools, and some of those schools were much older than Parsons College. So it's not something that was peculiar to Parsons. As a matter of fact, the landscape of America is littered with colleges that have closed, and so this is part of life, and change is part of life. And I know from reading the numerous emails that George sent out over the last several months that much was made of the fact that a change had happened here on this campus, and that the buildings that we all remembered are gone and new buildings are there. Well, I just spent several days at my alma mater, and there are buildings that I remember very well that are gone, and there are new buildings there. So it is change, and that is, as I say, it is part of life, and I think we have to accept that that's what goes on, and rejoice, as I've often thought, how wonderful it is that education continues on these grounds, that even though buildings go and new ones come, the land is here and education continues, and I think we can all be very grateful for that the tradition goes on, even though names have changed and some of the physical properties have changed. So it is very good to see all of you here. I'm sorry that I missed some of the other activities and some of the people that were here and had to leave and couldn't stay for today. But I trust that everybody had a good time and enjoyed seeing each other again and renewing those friendships. So, and I hope you'll come back again. That Fairfield is still here, and it's not impossible to get here, maybe difficult, but not impossible to get here. So it's been good to see all of you, and I hope you all have a safe trip back to wherever your homes may be at the present time. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Treat. A couple of things. This is our gable from the Ledger. And I think the Ledger, since I've been in town for the last 3 or 4 days, it's done an outstanding job in giving us good representation. Certainly front page, Jeff Wilson from the local paper said, I'll give you one front page story. Here I am today, I see 3 front page stories, and I can't wait till the day's edition. Richard Thompson, right? From the local cable, put up with Dave Pierce and myself last Thursday night, and we did a show with Suzanne Bates Kessel, and which was very nice. So he's heard all the litany, all the talk, and he's still with us. And
Richard also maintains a lot of your memorabilia and history on our city website. He's been doing this for a long time.
And very nicely, thank you. Yeah. Yes, very nice. We did invite you to come in the Hen Mansion, which we remember as the old Ewing Hall. And I think you'll find it, if you weren't in there Saturday, you'll certainly be happy to be in there. And for those who are staying around, we hope you'll enjoy the community today. And for those who are going to leave, some of us are going to meet at the Ye Oaks Inn. Ye Oaks Inn. Yeah, thank you. Museum? I don't believe the museum's open today. No.
Nobody's allowed back to Tilly's after you last night.
That's right, after Tilly's. That's right. So some of us are going to meet up in the Amandas, which I think is a nice place to have a nice dinner with those who are still around.
Thank you. Yes,
Yes, absolutely. Great job, George.
He wants more kisses.
I got a little bit of film here too, George. We're gonna stretch this a little bit, George. Just a minute, George. There you go.
On the front page of the Berkshire paper.
All right. I've conquered.
Well, unfortunately,
The rest of us girls.
for all of us here, this is the time to say goodbye. I hate to pick up the millionaire's thought, but this is going to be our last time for a while, but maybe we'll meet again. I hope so. I hope others across America will join us. I think they truly missed out on a nice weekend, and I know some wanted to be here, and due to other problems, circumstances, they weren't, but I think they will share in our glory that we remember Parsons College and the opportunity it gave us to be successful, find a loving mate, and be successful in each community. And what else could they ask for a college grad? Even one who just sort of slipped by after a long time. Anyway, I bid you adieu. Join us, and I think we all have a fondness for this community, and also remembrance of Parsons.
The DZs are meeting in 2 years back here.
Maybe they could lead the time back.
2 years.
Let us get together and find out who's going to lead.
Is there any information about the website you've been talking about? Because I mean, the real connection is email stuff.
I think,
Absolutely.
yeah. The website is under construction, should be in operation, I'd say, in a month. At least a new site with a few things on it. Yeah.
Because I know a bunch of people that use digital cameras in particular, so the ability to send some of that stuff.
Yep.
Some of those folks.
We ought to all write something to him.
Yeah.
And he can have the reunion page.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Some feedback, sure.
That we'd only have to send once to
Yep.
whose address.
I have a feeling you'll be able to buy T-shirts and hats on the website.
George, we might add that there is a distinct possibility that in 2 years' time that we will have some type of bricks and mortar that will be representative of all our memorabilia. We give the opportunity for alumni and certainly all of Jefferson County, state of Iowa, anyone who had affiliation with Parsons College to be connected. Or
That'd
at least
be
to have the
wonderful.
opportunity to be connected.
Or if they have some memorabilia they want to ship here to be in the
Yes.
library.
So would that be wonderful if we could have a dedication the next amount of years, perhaps a couple of years?
That'd be wonderful. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can look forward to that as well.
You got two people next to you. You got the local banker and you got the mayor. And what else do you need?
Well, there you go.
And you got a historian, and I guess you got me to send out the word, the messenger man.
Which you will do, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. In your name. Let's go inside.
Could you answer